Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gen B. I am Zoomer Cincy, and today's a different type of episode. I'm just gonna be kind of showing you something that I've been working on, and we're gonna push some live updates to it actually in this video. So let me go ahead and get into it. So just for starters, I'm not a coder at all. I have zero computer science experience. Like I literally have zero coding knowledge. But I've been using Claude to build this dashboard for my home Bitcoin miners. And kind of how it started was I found this phone app. I forget what it's called, but someone built this app where you can basically do this on your phone, where you can monitor all your little home miners and kind of have it all in one place instead of going to AxOS online. But I have 3 miners at home at the moment, and it only allowed you to have 2. And if you wanted to have more than 2, then you had to pay for it. And I was like, well, I'm not paying for this, so let me see if I can just make my own. And I have zero coding knowledge, so I went to Claude, and I've been, for the past few days, just kind of like going back and forth on like what I want and stuff, and I've been able to develop this. So before we kind of push the updates that I want to push in this episode, I'm going to show you around. So this is the home page. You can see your fleet overview. You can switch between gigahashes and terahashes. I have it set on gigahashes right now just because I don't really have that many miners and they're all bitaxes. So they're like the hash rate isn't super high. You can see the total power from your fleet, how many miners are online, as opposed to like how many you've connected. So if I connected one and it's not running and it's not online, it would tell me that it's not online. Your percent for shares accepted, your session best share, and your all-time best share. And then we have a little 24-hour hash rate chart here with a 2-hour moving average on it. And then if you click into the hash rate here, you can see like the averages over a certain period of time. And the reason these are low is because we haven't been running for like a full 7 days. So the averages are a little skewed. I'm going to see if I can fix that, but it's not super urgent or anything. And then if you scroll down here, you can add another miner, and then you kind of get a window into like each of your miners. So you can see the temperature that it's at, the target temperature for the miner, the fan speed, and then you can see the pool connection, what pool you're connected to, and then you can see your Bitcoin address there, and your username for the for the pool. And same thing here, like if I click into the hash rate, I can see the averages for the specific miner. And maybe this will be something we try and fix today if possible. It doesn't look like this is displaying correctly, the averages here. On the next tab is our miners tab. So we can also add miners from this page. And then we can actually sort them. So we can sort them manually, which is like drag and drop, or we can sort by the highest 12-hour hash rate, or we can search by the best share all time, or we can search by the power consumption, or filter, not search rather, and then you can click into them. So it's easy to like sort here, but then we can click in and then get more details on a specific miner and then click back out of it. Also, I've added the ability to adjust the settings of the miners here. So you can push in the new settings and restart the miner from this dashboard, which is pretty cool. And then I have an updates tab. This is not working completely yet. It is working for the bitaxes, but not for my Chinese NMX. But basically here we have the current firmware running on each of your miners that's currently connected to this application. And then you can go down here. You see I have 2 different types of miners. So right now, Bitax is the only one that's pulling the old firmwares correctly, but you can actually go down and look at every single firmware version that I'm able to pull in right now. So you can go through any past firmware version and download it, and then you can actually push it to the applicable miners. So my 2 Bitaxes are here, and I can download any firmware and push it to it. And then for the NMX, it's still not working. That's going to be something that I'm going to try to fix today in this video potentially, but that's still not pulling right. And then finally, we have a network tab. So here you can see the network difficulty for a block. You can see the estimated time for your fleet to find a block based on your current hash rate. So I'm solo mining right now with 3-bit axes, so that's like an absurd amount of time. And then I have the 10 most recent mined blocks here. It should refresh every 10 seconds, or I can manually refresh. And then it'll give me the block height, how much Bitcoin was mined in that block. So that's the subsidy plus the fees. And then it shows how many transactions were in that block and what mining pool mined it. So, I mean, it's like crude right now, but again, I don't have any computer science experience. Like I built this from scratch using Claude, and I'm doing my best, you know, like I'm just doing my best. This is just like a hobby thing. Like I'm just messing around. And then we've got fee rates here. Let me see if that's accurate. Right now it's saying it's 4 sats per VByte for a high priority transaction. Let's see if that's relatively correct. It's relatively correct. 3, 2, 1. What are we showing? 4, 4, 3. I wonder why it's doing that. That could be something we can look into as well. Oh, it just updated. Oh, cool. It just updated. That's cool. Okay, so we have that there, and then we've got this is something I also need to fix. We've got a network hash rate chart here. So basically what I wanted was a hash rate chart where you could switch between these different time periods, a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 3 years, all time. Right now, if you click on, so like right now we have 1 year selected, you'll see the dates are looking like they're relatively correct down here on this axis, but it doesn't actually change the chart from the all-time chart. So like no matter what time period I've selected, it's showing me the all-time chart, which is a problem. And then I have like a really, really old MacBook, so sometimes it renders a little bit slowly, especially on the network tab. But let's go back to the home tab, and then let's actually go back to Claude here, because I wanted to push through like an update. So I said, let's make the following fixes, and I split it up by what tab. So on the updates tab, I'm saying the NMX is still not pulling the old firmware versions. You should be able to find them on their GitHub, which I'm linking below. And then for the network tab, the hash rate chart is still not showing correctly. The actual chart does not change from the all-time, blah, 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 basically what I just said. And then I attached a picture. So let's see if we can fix those two things. And before I do that, let me just show you like what I actually have to do. So this is like I have no coding experience, but I'm basically running a proxy server on my terminal on my Mac, and then I have the HTML code that I have to put in this folder, and then so basically it spits out the code. I download the HTML file, put it in this folder, and then I go to like a local host link in my browser, and I can access the app. Like that's how I'm doing it right now. So let's push this, and I'm using the free version of Claude, so I only get a couple messages per few hours. So now it's fixing these issues. And this has just been mind-blowing for me, because again, like I'm someone that has no coding skills, no software engineer skills, literally nothing. I went to school for financial management. I do finance in my day-to-day job. And this is just something I've been doing on the side because I love Bitcoin. I think my miners are pretty cool. I'd like to have more in the future and kind of like incorporate them into like maybe like heating solutions. Like in my house, I would love to have like a Bitcoin mining like water heater and stuff like that. So I think, this is like a cool little project for me to work on and use the AI and, just learn. It's a learning experience. I'm sure if someone knew what they were really doing, then they would absolutely roast me. But, this is me going at my own pace. All right, so let's see the fixes. So it fixed the updates tab, added better logging. We'll see if that's actually working. Added extensive logging to debug the issue, shows period selected. Okay, so we'll try and see if it's still not working. I'll try and see if I can copy and paste what is happening in my console for my browser, because that helps the AI a lot if I can just like show it exactly what's happening in the console. Yeah, so that's what it's saying. It's telling me to please check the console if it's not working. And this will tell us that the okay, cool. So let's download the new HTML file. We're going to move the old one to my trash, and then we're going to bring up this one here. And then we go back to the mining dashboard and refresh, and it'll have the new changes. Cool. So we just refreshed. The first thing I'm going to check is the updates tab. Oh, and look at that. We've got the NMX firmware. Awesome. Okay, so that worked. So now for my Chinese miner, I now have all the old firmware versions. And if you've noticed, they haven't pushed any since the Chinese mining ban. So that's really unfortunate that they still... or that they are unable to continue on this project because they were pushing pretty regular releases before, and they haven't since then. And then for BitAxe, still working properly. Cool. This is really cool, guys. Like, it's just blowing my mind that I can just say what I want and just create anything pretty much. All right, so network tab. All right, so here's our hash rate. Yeah, it looks like this is still not working, and it's pretty delayed. Let's pull up my console and see if we can get any further details from the console. So this is just like my browser console that like it tells me exactly what's happening. Okay, so like let's try to just go to like 6 months and see if anything populates down here. 6 months. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this, and I kind of just like type here what I am gonna put in the message to Claude. So let me just type really quick what I want. Okay, so let's see if this helps Claude out. Let's get rid of the console, and then let's go back to the home page. And let's go to Claude here, and let's put that in. Let's see what he has to say. So it looks like he sees an issue here. mempool.space API is returning all the data regardless of the period parameter. Yeah, and so basically I'm using mempool.space as like my reference point for the hash rate chart. Okay, so it says it put in a fix. So let's see if it worked. I'm going to download this. And then I'm going to just clear this out. And I'm going to delete this. And then add this to the folder. This is the updated HTML code. And then we're going to go back to our dashboard and refresh. And I kind of just like to make sure that nothing else broke when we refresh. So, just scroll around. Make sure everything's good. Okay. Miner tab, looking good. Updates tab, still got, yep, looking good. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, and it looks like it's working. It's not the most visually pleasing chart, but we can adjust that later. Look at that. Look at that. Check that out. Check that out. Come on, all time. No. The all time doesn't work. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so the all time and the 3 year are giving me the same data. Okay, so now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, that works, but now when I'm pulling the all time chart, it's pulling the 3 year chart. So one sec, guys. So I'm basically going to type another prompt here. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to see what it returns for this. And then I'm also going to add the little screenshot that we took for reference. So let's copy this here, and then let's drag our photo over as well. And then I'm just going to put that in my trash. Okay, cool. So now let's see what it's got to say. Let's see if this fixes it. Let's see if this fixes it without breaking what we just fixed. Okay. So it said that it should be good to go. So let's download the new HTML file. Toss this one in the trash. There is our new HTML file. And now let's go over to our dashboard and refresh. That's refreshing. All right, miners are connected. Everything's looking good. Okay. 1 year, 6 months, 1 month, looking good. And it looks like the all-time is still not working. Huh. That's really strange. Should we do another prompt here and see if we can fix it? Yeah, oops, didn't mean to do that. I accidentally went over to my messages. Let's try another prompt. Let's try another one. Now let's see actually if we can get anything from the console when we are pulling the. So let's go open our console again. All right, so I have my console open, and I want to select the all-time hash rate chart and see what comes up. Okay, let's just pull that. All right, let's see if this helps out Claude. I've noticed that like when I'm pulling directly from my console, it gives me the best responses. Okay, so it looks like it sees a problem where the API is fetching only 3 years of data, even though we want all. So let's see. Again, I'm nervous. Like, is it going to be able to fix it without breaking the other charts? Because that was the issue before, is it was showing me the all-time hash rate chart. You can see my dad giving me a fantasy football proposal, trade proposal. That's funny. All right, so it said it fixed it. Let's download and let's see if it worked, guys. Let's see if it worked. Oops. Need to drag this into the folder. That's the updated code. And then let's go to the home page and refresh our dashboard. Cool. So here's our home page. Check it out. Everything's looking good. I just like to make sure that like nothing broke when we're doing this. Okay, so the 1 year chart is looking good. 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, 3 years. Moment of truth. Still not working. Oh, it worked. There it is. Sorry for yelling. There it is. Cool. Okay, and then 3 years. Awesome. Okay, cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so now I kind of like to just click around and think about things that I would like to optimize or add. Super stoked about the firmware versions loading here now. Like basically my vision for this was like, I just want this to be my home base for my home mining. So, I plan on getting more bit axes and getting some heaters and, in the future when I have a house, trying to integrate as much Bitcoin mining as I can into the heating and cooling of my home. So I kind of want this to be just like my own personal dashboard. And, maybe in the future, I'll try and get this into an actual app that can run on people's computers and phones. And maybe I'd push that out to like an app store or something. I don't know. But like right now, I'm just kind of using it as my own, personal project. So what are some things that I would like to add and change? Ideally, I kind of want these, like, they're all different colors right now. I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence about if I want to change that. I kind of like having the hash rate in orange. But, let's see if we can fix this actually. So the average like hash rates here don't seem to be populating correctly for like the total fleet, because if we go down to like my gamma, for example, and we click into the hash rate, like it knows all of these averages. And same, let's check all of the miners actually, like same for the Supra. And then maybe it's the NMX that is causing this to break. Okay, so that actually looks like it's the problem. So if you look here, my bit axes are populating the averages properly. The NMX is not populating its averages properly. And that's probably why this is NAs up here, is because the NMX is NAs. So let's see if we can fix that. Because I think we can indirectly fix this if we just fix the NMX average hash rates. So let's write a prompt to see if we can fix this. So 1 sec. Okay, so yeah, it's showing me NAs. Let's go back. Okay, hopefully this prompt works. So let's go back to the top of this and let's put this into Claude. Okay, so it looks like the NMX have a different field name for pulling the historical hash rate data. So it's investigating that right now. This is stuff that I just would never be able to do. Or maybe I would, but not currently. Okay, so let it run for a minute. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is gonna be our last prompt. I'm out of messages until 4 p.m. Okay, let's just like double check that this is still showing NAs. Yeah, it's still showing NAs. Okay, let's go back up. Let's download our new HTML file. I'm kind of nervous that this is gonna break something else, and then I'm gonna have to wait multiple hours to put my next prompt in. Okay, let's refresh. This is going to be our last refresh of the episode. So hopefully it works. And then I'll respond to my dad about that trade. Okay. Let it run for a minute. Let's just see what it's saying. NAs. Yeah, it's gotta pull it in. All right, so let's let this run for a sec. Just curious if these are pulling in correctly. Yes, they are. And then the NMX down here is still showing NAs, but it did say to let it run for a minute. If it doesn't, so what I'll do here is I'm gonna let it run for a minute, see if I can pull, if it's still not working, see if I can pull something from my console, and then I'm gonna write up a prompt over here for when we actually have when we actually are able to talk to Claude again, so that we're ready to talk to Claude when it's our time is up. So this is still showing NAs. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna pull up my console now. Okay, so there's your hash rate data. Okay. It looks like it's refreshing. Okay, so what happens when I click into here? That's just a refresh. Interesting. I don't see anything. Because these little pop-ups, is it just refreshing every 10 seconds? Okay, I'm going to have to figure that out off camera, but hopefully this was interesting to watch. Again, this is my little Bitcoin mining dashboard that I've created and I'm working on just as, a little hobby project. Pretty cool. I've got a little fleet overview here on the home tab with some stats that you might find useful. And then I've got this miners tab, making it easier to sort through all of your miners and to add new miners. We've got our updates tab where you can manage the firmware versions on your different miners. And then we've got a little network overview where you can see the network difficulty, some past mine blocks, the fee distributions, and a hash rate chart. I think that's pretty cool, especially for someone that has no coding experience. So yeah, thanks for letting me show this to you guys. I'm planning on making an episode more on like economics, finance, what's going on in the Bitcoin market later this week. So stay tuned for that. But if you like this type of content, give it a like, give it a follow, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, everyone.